Ace Frehley has had a sporadic recording career as a solo artist. Besides the 1978 Kiss solo album, he released 3 albums in the late 80s, followed by a 20-year break until 2009's Anomaly. Ace signed with the label Ear One, and his contract stipulates that Ace release an album every 2 years, starting with 2014's Space Invader. However, the albums alternate between originals and covers because E1 wanted Ace to do an album of covers. The first Origins was released in 2016, followed by the original Spaceman in 2018. For the second Origins, Ace produced the album himself, with Alex Salzman serving as a co-producer. Origins Volume 2 was released on September 18, 2020. This track features Ace on vocals and guitar, Jeremy Asbrook on guitar, Salzman on bass, Matt Starr on drums, and Laura Cove on background vocals. The original was a Led Zeppelin song. It's actually the first song on Zeppelin's first album, so it's cool that it starts this album. The thing that is always great about Ace's covers is that they are faithful to the originals, but he still manages to put his personality into it. Starr is a particular highlight on this track with some killer drumming, and Ace's recreation of Jimmy Page's lead work is great. This track features Ace on vocals and guitar, Salzman on bass, and Starr on drums. The original was by Mountain. It's a smart song to cover. The riff is very similar to certain Kiss songs such as Watchin' You and She. I'm honestly not crazy about this song. It's fine. This track features Ace on vocals, guitar, and bass, Rob Sabino on organ, and Starr on drums. The original was by Deep Purple, and the highlight of that was Ian Pace's drumming. So it's a bummer that the cool little mini drum solo in the original is replaced by an organ solo, especially with a drummer as talented as Starr. It's an okay song. I don't love it. This features Ace on vocals and guitar, John 5 on guitar, Salzman on bass, and Starr on drums. The original was by The Beatles. This is the first track on the record that I really love. It has so much energy and is a lot of fun. The leads by John 5 and Ace kick ass. This features Ace on guitar, bass, and vocals, Lita Ford on vocals, and Starr on drums. The original was by the Rolling Stones. Easily one of my favorite Stones songs, and probably the first one I ever heard by them. Covering the Stones is difficult because Mick Jagger has such a unique voice and presence that's impossible to replicate. But Ford doesn't try to replicate. She gives it her own flavor with a nice growl in her singing. It's a really good cover. This features Ace on vocals and guitar, John 5 on guitar, Salzman on bass, and Starr on drums. The original was by Cream. This song does nothing for me. I think it's kind of boring. John 5 does some really cool stuff on guitar though. This features Ace on vocals and guitar, Salzman on bass, Starr on drums, and Cove on background vocals. The original was by The Kinks. The song is really catchy and infectious, and I love Ace's cover of it. Ace and Cove's voices go really well together. This features Ace on guitar, Robin Zander on vocals, Salzman on bass, and Starr on drums. I'm a big Cheap Trick fan, so this collab was a dream come true. It's really cool to see Ace record with peers from the time, like Ford and Zander, the latter of which kicks ass on this song. It's a super fun cover with a great solo and killer drumming from Starr. This features Ace on vocals and guitar, Bruce Kulick on guitar, Salzman on bass, and Starr on drums. The original was by Jimi Hendrix. For most Kiss fans, this is worth the price of admission alone. The idea of Ace and Bruce trading leads on a Hendrix cover is the coolest thing ever, and Bruce's solo is outstanding. The song doesn't do much for me outside of Bruce's presence, but who cares? This features Ace on vocals and guitar, Salzman on bass, and Starr on drums. The original was by Paul Revere and the Raiders. I love this riff. It's a super fun and energetic cover. This features Ace on vocals, guitar, and bass, and Starr on drums. The original was by The Animals. It's a cool riff that suits Ace and a fun song with a great solo. This track features Ace on guitar, Ryan Spencer Cook on guitar and vocals, Asbrock on guitar and vocals, Philip Seuss on bass, guitar, and vocals, and Paul Simmons on drums. This is my least favorite song on the album. It's just so disappointing. I loved Ace's versions of Cold Gin and Parasite on the first Origins. I hoped if he did more Kiss songs, it would be something like Strange Ways, stuff he wrote but didn't sing. Ace doesn't even sing on this. It's a showcase for the band he currently tours with, but I'm not here for them. I saw them when they were the Gene Simmons Band, and they're talented guys, but I have zero interest in their take on classic Kiss that they add very little to. I'm here for Ace's take on classic rock songs. Also, this is the song where I think the production and mix fail. The album's sound is mostly fine with a solid drum sound and good guitar tone, but the bass is low and way too damn low on this song. She has a really cool bass part and it's barely audible. Origins Volume 2 only spent 1 week on the Billboard charts, peaking at number 81. I don't like Volume 2 as much as the first Origins. For me, the song choices on the first were much more interesting, and it's hard to beat the excitement that Paul Stanley's guest star appearance provided. For me, this is a solid album with some really cool covers, but some of the selected songs don't connect with me in their original incarnations, and Ace's updates don't really change that. But it's worth it for the solid tracks and the great collaborations.